Hello, Uta Hagen here with the book that I've published, In the Curated Woods, True Tales from a Grass Widow, published by iUniverse, available at iUniverse.com/bookstore, as well as Amazon, Barnes& and Noble, those distributors, in a softcover like this, and also as an ebook. You can read it on Kindle, etc. And I'm going to just read a brief excerpt about my departure. I hope that the trans widows who are watching this do not have to make quite as dramatic of a departure, but sometimes we do because we realize it's not safe to be in the same household as a man who wants to be you, the mother of the children, and claims to be suicidal. It's just not safe for you, and children should never be in a household where there is a suicidal adult. Now, I'm just going to bring in my little piece of nature here. This is cone flowers that is also known as echinacea, the pink ones, and the yellow ones are rudbeckia, also known as black-eyed Susans. We'll let them stay a little bit in the screen for this. I will read this. I called from Newark Airport because I really had to just pick up and leave. This happens to be on page 69 of my memoir. I called Nettie at work from Newark Airport. I had already educated myself on fulfilling the legal obligation to tell him where I was, where the children were. I felt then and still feel strongly that I had no choice but to leave. By his own admission, I had my two children in a small apartment with a possibly suicidal adult. That's what he claimed. Nettie was at that point sleeping on the fold-out couch next to our children's room. A room originally, the children's room being originally the dining room, but like in Brooklyn apartments, it was altered. We had a screen or something in the doorway, and it was their bedroom. I hadn't been able to sleep, knowing that the person I'd married was hiding knives from himself. Our little 1-year-old son had pulled the big chef's knife out from under the refrigerator, and that night I confronted Nettie about this, and I was actually afraid he would accuse me of being a sloppy housekeeper. I was an at-home mom at the time, and I did almost all of the cooking, 90% of the cooking. But what he did was he said he had to hide the knives from himself. He admitted that he had put that knife under the refrigerator. And so I thought, where else? You know, I, I have two active kids, a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old. And if knives are being hidden in nooks and crannies and closets and under the refrigerator, I can't keep my children safe. On the phone, on the phone, Nettie asked which airport we were at, saying he'd come and get us. At the Delta Airlines counter, I had just purchased one-way tickets for cash. I don't know if you can even do that anymore. I needed only two, because of the age of the children, um, and I was holding the 1-year-old on my lap. I remember crying silent tears all the way it was a direct flight from Newark to Milwaukee and then a little puddle jumper from Milwaukee to Madison. And a businessman sat, I got our 4-year-old next to the window, and I sat in the middle, and then a businessman sat next to us. And I really do wonder what he thought, because I held the little one on my lap. It was a late afternoon flight. They both fell asleep, and I just cried silent tears. I had tears running down my cheeks, and I think I had to use the collar of my jacket. And I thought, why doesn't this businessman notice that tears are running down my cheeks? And just wave to the stewardess to get me a napkin or something. Anyway, that's just a little additional detail, one that didn't make it into the book. Okay, so this is when I'm talking to him before we left. I recited my rehearsed speech with a shaking voice. Sorry, I can't tell you, which airport we're at. We're about to get on a plane. I'm not taking the children from you. I'm protecting them. I am not responsible for what you do later. You know, you know this. Call the hotline, go to the ER if you feel you are suicidal. I and the children cannot be here. We'll be at my parents' house in Madison. I hung up, not wanting to say more in front of our 4-year-old who possessed an almost photographic memory. He was so excited to see my parents and be in the big house. I believe also what I did was I didn't even have a hand to hold on to him. Like he was obediently holding on to the stroller with the 1-year-old in the little collapsible stroller, and I somehow brought along some little toy for them, and cupped my hand over the phone so that he wouldn't hear what I was saying to his father. Uh, yeah. Oh, I did tell that story about the silent tears on the plane. I just didn't mention about the businessman who didn't mention anything about my silent tears. Okay, so that's all I'm going to read from the book right now, but I want to just urge um, anyone who knows a trans widow, or if you are a soon to be ex-wife or the ex-wife of a suddenly demanding, suddenly cross-dressing husband, you can contact me to tell your story through my voice on my WordPress blog, which is Utahagen grasswidow.wordpress.com. And there is a contact form kind of on the upper right area of the main page of the blog, and you can email me. And then what I do is have a couple of emails back and forth to vet you. You tell me a little bit about your experience, and then I send you the questionnaire, 20 questions to ask a trans widow. And then I always advise, if you want to just answer 2 questions at a time, we'll go back and forth, or do it all at once, but make a plan for after you do this writing about your experiences. Make a plan to go out with a friend or do something with your children, or uh, just do something in nature, do something purposeful, because it is upsetting to dredge up all of these memories. And of course, now I have data on 61 of us. And if you want a little more window into what trans widows experience, then go to the YouTube channel Lime Soda Films and watch the 2 trailers of a documentary that filmmaker Vaishnavi Sundar is working on, and you will see even more women give their side of the story. It was pretty harrowing for Vaishnavi to take in all of our stories, and there were even some cases in which she had to say, I don't think I can profile you on this film because it sounds like there were a few women who hadn't been able to leave. Oh, yes, one thing that I do require for being a trans widow who gives your answers to the 20 questions to ask a trans widow survey is that you need to be moved out, or he needs to be moved out, because it could be possibly dangerous for you to be online with me when at some point when you're not there, he could go on and, spy on you and find out that you are communicating with me. So there are a couple of trans widows that haven't gotten to move out yet. One actually contacted me saying that she had locked herself into the guest bedroom and he was just coming back from one of his cross dressing sessions. And she was afraid of this sexual kind of just somewhere between harassment, assault, you know, nonsense that he was going to subject her to. So she locked herself in the other room and was typing furiously to me. I waited a couple of days, but then I said to her, "You have to concentrate on getting yourself out of there and being safe. And I, after you've done that, I will send you the survey." And so it is just based on the data that I have, where 1/3 of us have been physically assaulted by him and or sexually assaulted by him. A few cases of strangulation, a few cases of rape, none of them ever prosecuted. You just, you are not safe there. We're finding out more and more based on the men in jail who also claim this about their identity. So, anyway, as always, go out in nature. I will after the rain stops, and recover from these stories. Stay connected to Mother Nature and your own body. Thank you. Subscribe, like, and share. Be well.